Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Magnus, and today we're going to install a MLM to our MDS system. And I actually don't know what MLM stands for, so I Google it, and apparently it stands for Multi-Customer Log Module. Well, I thought it was something else, but well, apparently it is. And here is our topology, and we will install this one with a yellow star on it, and we will install it in R80.30. Because the reason why we install it in R80.30 is so we can test some features like CDT, VPN between different domains, VPN between R81 and R80.30. And of course we want to do some upgrades as well. So it will be installed in R80.30, and we also need to figure out like which HFA and so on we should put on it, because it needs to be the same as the current MDS. As always, it's good to check the Checkpoint website to see if there is any new jumbo hotfixes, any takes, any new images and so on that you can use. But you need to keep in mind, the MLM needs to be installed on the same version as your MDS, and that's including the jumbo hotfix as well. So maybe you come to the conclusion like, I don't have this HFA on Checkpoint website. So Checkpoint website only allows you to download the latest and greatest. So if you check here, for example, we have the security management server. It doesn't say like the log server, but it's the same image. So this is the clean install, and that's one we will use. But when it comes to the specific jumbo hotfix, well, if we check for the jumbo hotfix, we see here that the current one that we can download easy from here is the 228. And as you see here below, we can download the 232 as well. But we don't have any download buttons for these ones. But you're able to download it from your current management station. So if we go into our VMware platform, let me just restart this one. We can do like this. So first we log in. And I already prepped with some new licenses. All this is demo licenses. So if we check for the MDS, so we do reconnect here. First of all, we do into expert, and we do cp info -y all. And here we can see that we have 219 as take. Okay, so we need to download 219 as take. So either you have that on your management station, or your jump gate, or your own box, or whatever. But you're able to do like this. So if you open a web browser and you go to your MDS, I don't know which IP this has. Let's check. So to check IP addresses, you do ipconfig, and we see that we have 110. So if you remember correctly, these ones, they are our CMAs, and we can check that by doing an MDS stat. And here we have our 4 MDSs, and here's the IP addresses of them. So they are actually listed when you do an ifconfig. Just a good tip to know at least. And you need to make sure that it's up on all of this. If they are not up, they are not yet started. But everything is up and running on this one, so we are, well, good to go. But we log into the GAIA portal of the MDS. Here we are able to, first of all, we need to obtain the lock. And if we go down to status and actions, let's do like this. We can see here 219. This is the one that we have. And if you want to download this one, just press more and then export package. So this is the way that you can get an HFA that it's currently not on Checkpoint website and actually download it. I mean, of course, the best would be to upgrade to the latest and greatest and then put the MLM on the same version, or if you install it at the same time as the MDS, then it's not an issue. But I mean, sometimes your environment grow larger and you need to add more MLM servers to handle more logs. So this is something that you will encounter in real life as well. So now this one has downloaded and we have it in our folder. So that's great. It's here. So let's figure out like what is the type of requirements that we actually need for this MLM to work. So if we go back to Checkpoint's website, normally the requirements is listed under the release notes. So if we check the release notes, and we are an open server, so to say, because we're installing it in VMware. So open server minimum hardware requirements, and we see here that our MDS requires 8 cores and 32 gigs of RAM. Okay, so do we have any specific one for log server? Not really. It's not listed. Logging requirements, smart console. I would say and here you see a dedicated log server has greater capacity and performance than the security management server with active log service. On dedicated log servers, the log server must be the same version as the management server. Yeah, that's okay. I actually think it needs to be. It doesn't need to have exactly the same performance as the MDS. It's good if it has, but I will try that we install it with like 6 cores and 16 gigs of RAM. And the reason for this is, well, I'm using a lot of performance in my box already. So I'm already using 32 gigs of RAM or 35 gigs of RAM for all of this that I have running. And well, we have a lot to go on this lab. And this will be a struggle to actually achieve with 64 gigs of RAM what I'm planning. But let's try it. So the log server, I would say 6 cores and 16 gigs of RAM, and I think that we should be fine. I mean, this is a lab. Don't get me wrong, this is still a lab. So let's do it. So we will do a new virtual machine, custom workstation, and we will have the image 3.10. Security management server 3.10 GAIA. Is it that one? Let's check. So if we do clean install, fresh install for management, multi-domain. Is this a 3? This is management. I think it would be this one then. Next, and it will be Linux 64 bits. That's good. And we will do CP MLM. And I will place it in a different disk. And we will do one processor and 6 cores. And we will do 16 gigs of RAM. I don't know how I get 16. Okay. I guess that's 16. And we will do not use network connection in this time because we want to set it up ourselves. And it's iSCSI. Create a new virtual disk. I will install it with 300 gigs. And my recommendation is to install it with like 500 or 1 terabyte of disk and then add additional log space. And I have a video about how to do that, and I will link it in the, well, up here. And the reason for this is because when you install a Checkpoint machine, it will actually take a lot of your space from your management station or from your gateway and use for snapshots and backups and so on. So it's not really used for log space, meaning if you install something with like 10 terabytes from start, you will lose 50% of it right away. So it's better to install it with a smaller disk and then add more log space after. With appliance boxes, you don't really have that option, but for open servers and VMware, it's a good option. And we will go do customize hardware because we will need to add a NIC. So we have a network adapter. And based on our topology, it should be VMnet 6. So VMnet 6. Custom VMnet 6. And it will be powered on. Close. And finish. And let's check how this one compares. Just so we didn't make any mistakes. So it's 6, so that's good. So let's start this one. Power on, and we have the image. And was the image on at boot up? I hope so. Connect for power on. Okay, install this machine. And let's pray my box will actually survive this. I hope so. And here we have installed GAIA on this system. That's correct. And it's complaining that I have an AMD CPU because, well, I didn't buy an Intel. It was a lot nicer with an AMD this time. In a real production, you should of course follow the hardware compatibility list. It's important to have all the drivers and everything correct. But this is a lab environment, and well, I don't have an Intel box I can run this on. And I will skip through a lot of this installation, but I will show you what you actually need to put in. So, okay, and Swedish keyboard. And here I will put like 100 gigs, 41 gigs of log is just fine. This is a lab. I don't want 41 gigs of log in my computer. I start to get out of disk. And we had in the topology, we did say 192.168.1.130 with a /24. And it was .1 for default gateway. And yes, I want to format the drives. This goes quite quickly. And I will jump ahead until next time we need to put in stuff. So the first installation is done. We will reboot it, and then we will connect to the browser and actually do the configuration. So in this case, just reboot. And as it's VMware, it should go quite quickly. So the computer is reboot. So let's go to our jump gate, and you take any browser and you will do HTTPS to that specific IP address. And you will log in with the password that you did select. And then you will have the first time wizard like any other Checkpoint product. So next, continue. And you need to verify your IP settings again. And then you will need to put the host name, and I will just put the CP MLM. And let's put the DNS. And we do manual time. You shouldn't do this in real production. You should use NTP. And we will select multi-domain server. And we will do a multi-domain log server. And this one, don't unclick it. It's a nightmare. You need to do a lot of tricks and things to get this back. So use this one. But it's multi-domain log server and automatic download blade contracts and so on. And here you select the interface that you will actually have your CLM on. And our management server only have one interface, so this will be Ethernet 0. Then you do the SIC, and this is also for all Checkpoint products. So they have all the communication between Checkpoint products is using certificates. And this is to establish that certificate between the devices. You can read more about SIG here, but that you have to do on your own time. Next, and we can improve some data at Checkpoint so they do better products. So finish, and then we just need to wait until this is finished, and then we will actually attach it to the MDS that we currently have. Okay, so the configuration did finish, and let's see if it did boot up. Okay, 64-bit, 200, is that the same as this one? I hope so. 200, that's nice. 3.10. So there are some difference on it, but we haven't added any hotfixes yet. So let's add a hotfix. CPUs. So the DA agent is 1669. So let's update that one. And I guess we can download it. Checkpoint DA agent download. Let's see. And the latest and greatest is what? 2019. So let's download that one. Download. So it's downloaded. And let's go back here. Install DA. Latest. Install. So it's important to upgrade your deployment agent so it's the latest and greatest. This will make sure that your verifications and, well, a lot of bugs is actually removed if you use the latest and greatest DA. The problem if you don't do that is that it will not allow you to upgrade to R81. It will not allow you to do certain things. So that's why it's important to have it. And we will also add hotfix import package because we have it locally, as Checkpoint didn't have an option to download it. And I guess we put it here. So here we have the 2.219, the same as we have on the other MDS. So import, and it was imported successfully. So let's do show all package and scroll up here, and we do verify. And verify doesn't need access to the internet. It will do just by itself by having the right deployment agent. So hopefully we are permitted, and then we will just install the latest. We will install the 219 take of this, and the box will be rebooted, and then we will actually add it to the MDS. As you see, this take will actually force the management server to reboot. And still, we are still only on the MLM, so we're not on the MDS itself. So far we have 0 production impact, and we will not have any production impact when we add the MLM as well. So let's just wait for this one to finish. And in the meantime, let's start the smart console and log into the MDS server. So this is our MDS server. We have our 4 CMAs. We have the main, where we put all the, well, VSX clusters we will put here. And these are the specific customers. And when you add the MLM, it will be up here. And it's also there where you will have MDS HA if you're running such things. I don't have that myself, but we have MLM servers in our MDS servers. So let's see. So it's still do verifying, and we see that this MLM actually has access to the internet. And we see installation is allowed. When it comes to hotfixes, it's always installation is allowed. It's never upgrade, because it's an install of an additional packet that you're actually adding. So let's do this. Let's do the install update. As you see here, the installation has started. So it will write a lot of information like how far it has gone, and it will take a few minutes, and then the box will reboot by itself. And then we can actually add it to the MDS. I will fast forward this bit because you have seen me install different things and it looks exactly the same. So it's nothing fancy here. Okay, now the box is up and running and you see here that the kernel has changed and it's actually the same on both of these. So that's good. And if you want to check that it's installed, well, you can do it here in the GUI and just take it all and you see that it's installed and it has rebooted itself. So let's connect the MLM to the MDS now. So what we need to do is to take this star and then do multi-domain log server. And then we will do CP MLM and we will do the IP address. So 192.168.1.130 and we will do connect. And hopefully it will allow us to put in the SIC and it will match. I did put the SIC as checkpoint. This is a one-time password. And you see that the trust is established. So the MDS and MLM can now speak. And I always select here, so you don't need to do it by discovery. And it's an open server. And what do you need to do more? Well, this is if you want to have automated assigned IP ranges for your CLM. I normally do it manually. Log settings. So here is the general part, like how often do you want to clean your log server? Because of indexes and so on. But in this case, we'll just do OK. And this is something that will be deployed directly. So publish now. And you see here that this is now deploying and it's installing a peer CP MLM. So this is our MLM server. And I was thinking that we could actually start the specific CLMs as well. I know it's a lot of acronyms now and Checkpoint change them from time to time. But the important here is to wait for this one and that it should be no error message like this and no thing like this. Because if they're not in sync, something is wrong. And it's important that they are in sync, especially if it's management stations. But I mean, even the log server is important that it's in sync and that everything is listed as green. So you can see different stages here that it's sending information back and forward, so everything will be nice. And here you can see the yellow small little mark. It's not very large. It's fairly hard to see this actually. But you see this yellow stripe and you see this yellow exclamation mark. So that means it's still ongoing. And of course the process bar still means that it's ongoing. All right, so you can see that the yellow process bar is gone here. You can see that it's full sync. You see here that it's, well, not in a red sign anymore. This one says red sign here, it says never synchronized. And if you give this a few minutes, like 5 minutes, you will see that the red mark is actually removing itself also, because now this is saying standby. And you have the active and standby. But this is not a management station. This is purely a log station. And I realized that this video is quite long, so we will cut it in 2 parts. So the next video will be how you actually install the CLMs, and it's very similar to the CMA itself. But I hope you did learn something from this, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.